Hey everybody, this is Rod Martin coming to you from Grace Hall for rodmartin.org. And today we are remembering the greatest president of the 20th century, Ronald Reagan. It was fashionable for a while to consider Reagan a warmonger and even a fool. Perhaps this is the best indicator of his Churchillian stature. For like Reagan, Churchill was so maligned, and like Churchill, Reagan saved the world. The left, of course, credited Gorbachev for this, which resembled nothing so much as crediting Hitler's suicide for the end of World War II. Reagan's victory, and the fact that we are not now speaking Russian or buried under a smoldering ruin a la Khrushchev, was produced of a vision shared by no president before him, and a fortitude possessed by few. Reagan refused to accept the left's twisted received wisdom of moral equivalence between the communist East and the democratic West. He called Russia the evil empire it was and revived the moral courage essential for victory. His opponents, lesser men from Michael Dukakis to Michael Foot, hurled their epithets. He was dangerous, destabilizing, a cowboy. But Reagan understood the real danger was in a nuclear superpower bent on world conquest, and in the throes of both economic and ethnic collapses, its Western apologists refused even to see. Reagan repaired a nuclear deterrent so badly eroded as to lack credibility and invite nuclear blackmail. Side by side with Margaret Thatcher, he stood down the left's greatest ever attempted appeasement, the nuclear freeze movement, and not only rearmed America, but reestablished the deterrent around the world and particularly in Europe. The Soviets, playing off the terror of the times, threatened to walk out of stalled arms talks if he did so. In a move which stunned everyone, he wished them a fond farewell. He would not be bullied, and when they realized it, they returned. Reagan's certainty that people everywhere yearned for freedom and that free markets could always outproduce centrally planned slavery drove his strategies where realpolitik could never go. He replaced both containment and détente with his Reagan doctrine, proclaiming America would actively roll back its foe by helping freedom fighters behind the Iron Curtain. From World War II until Reagan, not one square inch of ground had ever been recovered once it was lost to communism. Now all things changed, as Moscow was made to play defense, first in Grenada, then in Afghanistan, and ultimately from the Berlin Wall to the USSR itself. Unwilling to play for less than total victory, Reagan went for the Soviet jugular. Realizing that over half of all Soviet hard currency came from the export of oil, he cut a deal with Saudi Arabia, weapons and other benefits previously unavailable, in exchange for an oil glut, which would bully the West and skewer the common foe. Combining this with an arms race, the keystone of which was the High-Tech Strategic Defense Initiative, or SDI, what his opponents derided as Star Wars, but which was the foundation of the missile defenses we take for granted all around the world today. He pushed Moscow over a cliff his opponents said couldn't even be there. Gorbachev, coming in much too late, after a string of dead Soviet leaders, was left first to restructure, then to just dismantle his empire, finally just fading away. This is Reagan's greatest legacy, but it is hardly his only one. His supply-side faith in Arthur Laffer's lower marginal tax rates ignited a 25-year boom, the longest peacetime expansion in American history, in an America used to every 3-year recessions. His vision for tax-deferred retirement accounts transferred the means of production to the proletariat and destroyed the basis for class warfare. Shareholders, a tiny fraction of the population in 1980, became a large majority. The wealth his ideas created drove a technological boom the likes of which the world had never seen, and convinced billions previously susceptible to socialism that freedom really works. It is there that Reagan's greatness truly lies. To a bleak Orwellian world, he restored hope, and the chance not only that there would be a next century, but that it would be a good one. This is Rod Martin, coming to you from rodmartin.org.